This video is created by Jagrat Creation. It is on accounting for branches, independent branch. I want to take care of one sum which was asked in past in CA final examination. But it's a good sum, so I want to take care of it. Observe the sum on the screen. This is the sum which I want to consider right now in this lecture. Following trial balance as on 31st of December 2017 have been extracted from the books of Major Limited and its branch at a stage where only adjustment required to be made prior to preparation of the balance sheet of the undertaking as a whole. So only adjustments are to be recorded, and after giving the effect of this adjustment on this trial balance, we are required to prepare a consolidated balance sheet, means combined balance sheet, as a balance sheet of the undertaking as a whole, wherein the assets, liabilities, profits of HO and branch will be merged together and the balance sheet will be reported. Here you are given the trial balance of HO, this is the trial balance of branch. Now share capital 1,50,000, fixed assets, HO and branch, sundry current assets. Here note number 3, so note number 3 it has got reference with this third point. Current liabilities, then stock reserve 693 has a reference to this note number 2. And revenue accounts has a reference to note number 1. So here note number 1, 2 and 3 follows this sequence. That is the first thing that the student should understand. Let me make it more obvious. Goods are transferred from head office to branch at an invoice price at cost plus 10%, both the revenue accounts. So this revenue account and this revenue account, both the revenue accounts been prepared on the basis of the price is charged. So this revenue accounts are prepared on the basis of invoice price. So branch profit is being found out on the basis of invoice price. Now relating to the head office goods held on 1st of January 2007, that is the opening stock. So opening stock, and this is the stock reserve as on 1st of January 693. So in the opening stock there was a profit element. So stock reserve balance was 693, that is being carried forward in the trial balance of HO. So this 693 is a unrealized profit in the opening stock, which is presumed to have been realized during the current year, because it is presumed that opening stock at the beginning of the year has been sold during the year. Now include goods received from HO at an invoice price 4565. So goods received from HO, it is a part of inventory. Inventory, debtors, cash and bank balance is a part of current assets. So note number 3, current assets, has got a reference with this third point. So includes received from HO at an invoice price. So these 3 notes has got reference with these numbers. Now fourth, goods are invoiced by head office to branch at rupees 3641, wherein transit on 31st of December 2017, as well as remittance of 3,500 from the branch. Now this fourth adjustment is of goods in transit and cash in transit. The adjustment entry for goods in transit and cash in transit is to be recorded at the receiver's end. So included goods invoiced by head office to branch. So head office sends goods to the branch. So receiving end is branch. So goods in transit adjustment will be recorded in the books of branch. And by recording the adjustment entry for goods in transit, the trial balance of branch is subject to change in light of this adjustment. As was also a remittance of 3,500 from branch. Now cash is sent by branch to HO. Now HO is the receiver end for cash in transit. So this cash in transit adjustment will be recorded in the books of adjustment entry will be recorded in the books of HO, and in light of that entry, the trial balance of this HO is subject to change. That I am going to explain after a couple of minutes. On 31st of December 2017, the following transaction reflected in the head office books but unrecorded in the branch books. So this is omission. Transactions omitted in the books of branch. Which two transactions are omitted? Purchase price of lorry 2,500 which reaches the branch on December 25th. Sum received on December 30, 2017 from one of the branch debtors 750. So lorry is purchased for the branch. Payment is made by HO. This transaction was not recorded in the books of branch. So this transaction will be recorded, and in light of that, this trial balance is subject to change. Similarly, HO has collected money directly from the debtors of the branch. This transaction is also not recorded in the books of branch and need to be recorded because these are the errors of omission, and when there is an error of omission, the transaction omitted need to be committed means recorded. So in light of these two transactions, also the branch trial balance is subject to change. You are required to record the foregoing in an appropriate ledger accounts in both set of books, and to prepare the balance sheet as on 31st of December 2017 for the undertaking as a whole. So in light of this adjustment, I am required to make changes in this trial balance. For the purpose of making changes in the trial balance, I am required to prepare ledger accounts, and in those ledger accounts, I am required to go for the ledger posting of this adjustment entry. Then I will find out the closing balances of this amended, changed ledger accounts, and those ledger accounts, ledger balances will be translated in this head office and branch. So amended, revised, after adjustment, this trial balance of HO and branch will be prepared, and after that, I will prepare the balance sheet of an undertaking as a whole. This is the strategy that I want to follow. Now once again, let me repeat how many transactions I am going to record to change the branch trial balance. Once goods in transit, purchase of lorry, and direct payment by debtors to HO. These three transactions I am going to record in the books of branch, and in light of that, this branch trial balance will be changed. Now, how many adjustments I am going to record in the books of HO? In the books of HO, I am going to record the adjustment entry for cash in transit, because the cash in transit is to be recorded at the receiver's end, and here HO is a receiver end. So cash in transit entry will be recorded in the books of HO. Adjustment entry will be recorded in the books of HO. One more entry that I am required to record is to find out the unrealized profit in the closing stock. So what is the closing stock? So you are told that the included goods received from HO invoice price 4565. So 4565 is the invoice price of closing stock, which is a part of current assets given to you in this trial balance. So closing stock valued at an invoice price, which is a part of current assets. The closing stock is required to be entered in the books of accounts at cost or market price, whichever is lower. So here the invoice price is for which I am required to create a stock reserve just to reduce the invoice price of stock to cost level. So I am required to create stock reserve for this closing stock. Over and above, the goods in transit are also at an invoice price, and goods in transit are treated goods that are in transit under the ownership of HO. So HO is the owner of goods in transit. It is just like stock in the godown. So closing stock and goods in transit are treated at par. So we are required to find out the unrealized profit in goods in transit as well as closing stock. And whatever the unrealized profit is there, for that I am required to create a stock reserve. The existing stock reserve is 693. So do I require additional stock reserve? Or or the stock reserve is more than what I need, that we shall decide by finding out the unrealized profit in this closing stock plus goods in transit. And whatever the reserve is required, so additional reserve required to be made, for that adjustment entry will be recorded in the revenue account. So there are two main transactions in the books of HO which are going to change this trial balance. One is cash in transit, and second, entry for unrealized profit or entry for unrealized profit. These two are the important transactions which I am supposed to record in the books of HO. And in light of that, I am going to make changes in this trial balance. After doing all these things, amended trial balance of HO and branch will be considered, and I will prepare balance sheet from that. Now let me start. So first of all, I am going to prepare ledger accounts in the books of branch. So let me keep branch only here. So let this head office information should not, let it not disturb me. So I keep a curtain on the details of HO. Now head office account, goods in transit account, motor vehicle account, current assets account, head office account, credit balance I raised as the opening balance. Now goods invoiced by HO to branch rupees 3645 were in transit. So goods in transit adjustment entries to be recorded at the receiver end. As per this information, branch is a receiver end. So branch has to record the adjustment entry for goods in transit. So let me write down the journal entry for your better understanding. So goods in transit account debit to HO account credit, because HO is the giver. So this is the adjustment entry recorded. Now if I go for its ledger posting goods in transit, so let me write on the debit side of goods in transit account narration HO account, and in HO account I will write on the credit side goods in transit. This is how the ledger posting of the adjustment entry is being done. Next, the purchase price of lorry 2500 which reached the branch in December 25th. So this is a lorry purchased by HO, asset purchased for branch by HO. So payment is made by HO. So asset account debit. Who is the giver? HO is the giver. Credit the giver. HO account is to be credited. So the adjustment entry for this omission, motor vehicle account debit to HO account credit. So motor vehicle account is debited and HO account is credited. This is how the ledger posting of this adjustment entry is being done. This is an error of omission. Now, amount received from the debtors. Debtor is a part of current assets. Debtors are the part of current assets. So, effect to the debtors account will be identified in the current assets account. Now the amount is collected by the HO from the debtor. HO is the receiver. Debit the receiver. HO account debit to current assets account credit. So current assets opening balance I have recorded. HO account debit to current assets account credit. So HO account is debited on current assets account is to be credited, remittance by the debtors. So 3 adjustment entries I wanted to record in the books of branch. All are recorded. Now let me strike the balance. Now HO account, total of credit minus total of debit balance. So this balance, I will change this HO balance. Look at it. This 22,645 will change to 28,035. So I have changed this 2836. So this HO balance is changed in my trial balance. Now goods in transit is the new account. So I will write goods in transit, debit balance. Then motor vehicle closing balance, 2,500. So 2,500 will be added to fixed assets. My fixed assets are 18,901. 2,500 rupees are added to it. So that my amended, changed balance of fixed asset will become 21,401. Now current assets, this is the closing balance, 22,965. So I am going to change the balance of this current assets, 23,715 change to 22,965. So I have made a change. In light of that, I am going to change these totals. So these totals have also changed. Now after this changing these totals in this fashion, let me consider the transaction that I need to record or the adjustment entry that I need to record in the books of head office. So this branch ledger posting is done. In light of that, trial balance is amended. Now I want to do the same thing for head office. So branch account. So these are the accounts that I prepare. Debit balance on branch account. Now first entry that I would like to record, cash in transit, 3,500. Adjustment entry, cash in transit account debit to branch account credit. So I debit cash in transit account. Branch account is to be credited for that. Now let me strike the balance, and in light of that, let me make the changes in the trial balance of this HO. Yet I am required to write the entry for stock reserve. But let me finish it first of all. So debit balance has changed now, 28,000. So here the branch debit balance will be changed, amended. So it will become 28,036. And cash in transit will appear as debit balance in the trial balance. So this is of these two changes I have made. Now I am required to find out the unrealized profit in stock. Stock is valued at 10%, cost plus 10%. So I am required to find out the unrealized profit. Unrealized profit exists where? It exists in the closing stock valued at an invoice price and goods in transit valued at an invoice price. Both together has a profit load of 10% above cost. So let me work it out. Now I want to find out unrealized profit in the closing stock and goods in transit. So required stock reserve for stock held at branch, stock at an invoice price, plus goods in transit. So total stock under the ownership, which holds a profit load of cost plus 10%. So if suppose that cost is 100, then profit is 10. 110 is the invoice price. If 110 is the invoice price, then 10 is the profit. How much for 8206? So 8206 into 10 upon 110, 746 is the unrealized profit in the stock. So stock reserve required is 746. How much stock reserve exists? 693. So this is the closing balance of stock reserve required. Now 693 reserve already existing. So how much is the additional stock reserve is required? Unrealized profit for that. This revenue account will be debited. So let me write down the balance of revenue account. This stock reserve balance will become 746. So additional reserve required 53 rupees. So this 53 rupees will be debited to revenue account. So revenue account debit to stock reserve account credit. Now in light of this, revenue account will be reduced by 53. So new balance of revenue account is 43,157. So I am going to change this balance in light of this. Even after these changes, if you make a total will be 2,28,470, no need to change. So this is how I have amended the trial balance of HO. Now let me prepare. This is a amended trial balance. These are the ledger accounts prepared in the books of HO. These are the ledger accounts prepared in the books of branch, which has already been explained to you. Now I want to prepare notes on account, share capital, reserves and surplus, current liabilities, non-current assets, current assets. Share capital 1,50,000. Fixed assets total, non-current assets, current assets, head office, plus branch, minus stock reserve. So these are the current assets. Stock reserve is deducted from the stock because stock is reported at cost, and profit load in the stock is to be removed because in the balance sheet stock is to be reported at cost. Now current liabilities, stock reserve already taken care of. Revenue account, goods in transit, it's a current asset. Cash in transit. So these are the total current assets. This stock reserve is already deducted while writing this current assets that you know very well. Now I want to prepare the balance. Now on the basis of these notes on accounts, let us prepare the balance sheet. Equity and liability, shareholders fund, reserves and surplus, current liabilities, non-current assets, current assets, capital 1,50,000, revenue account, current liabilities and provisions, fixed assets, 96,526, 1,51,169. Have a total of the balance sheet 2,47,695. So 2,47,695 is the balance sheet. This is okay. So this is how balance sheet total agrees. So this is an important sum. I have tried to explain you some. First of all, I identified the adjustment which need to be recorded in the books of branch, adjustment which need to be made in the books of HO. The adjustment entries are also presented to you. In light of that, the balances have changed. After changing the balances, the amended trial balance is prepared. From the amended trial balances, notes on accounts and the balance sheet is prepared. So this is the method with which I have solved the sum here before you. And observe the entire sum at a stretch on one screen. I feel that you have followed all these things. Thanks to all.